Tim O'Malley for Irish Illustrated, and I ran into this guy at practice today, Pete Sampson from The Athletic, where we took in what ended up being a very physical practice at the end and a lot of one-on-one, 7-on-7 action prior to that.
Yeah, it wasn't really a big explosive play scrimmage. I think the earlier ones have been sort of more interesting if you're just looking for huge moments.
Right.
And I think for me, at least, the biggest takeaway was Sean Crawford is sort of back to being more like Sean Crawford. And if he's going to be your number 4 safety and maybe your number 3 or number 4 corner, maybe your nickel, like, I know he's a backup defensive back, but that is a really significant development.
And I think that's, Brian Kelly even mentioned, that's how they're going to want to use him. He might not love it, but he is a jack of all trades. It might, I know it's going to be a lot of snaps, but it still might preserve him a little bit rather than snap after snap after snap. He can be out some series. He's just around the ball, and that's it. If you watch Sean Crawford in 2017 before he kind of wore down, he was always around the ball, and they're going to need him in the back line. Kyle Hamilton, over under interceptions, was 1.5. He had 2 again today. Obviously, he's worked his way into the mix, and he got some extra time today because Alohi Gilman had a bit of a veteran day there in 11-on-11.
Yeah, I mean, he got a pick of Ian Book, which that's the first of that. It's been all Dracovic so far because he's been almost exclusively with the 2s except for the dime stuff. I mean, he's just around the ball at all times. So, I mean, those were significant developments. I don't know why Chase Claypool stands out to me anymore because we've seen him stand out so much, but I think he sort of elevated himself from today's practice was less, oh, you can replace Mile Boykin, and more, kind of more Michael Floydish to me. The way he carries himself is not just a number 1 receiver at Notre Dame, it's a number 1 receiver, like in college football. I'm not saying he's that good, but today he looked it.
Well, he's good enough to be on the Biletnikoff watch list, which he was not put on, because Chris Fink does everything right at practice. He's a coach's dream, I'm sure. He makes every play. He might lead the team in catches. Chase Claypool makes amazing plays, routine at practice, on Troy Pride, who, as you pointed out, Troy Pride is good. He just can't handle Chase Claypool right now. It's kind of the evolution of the offense. You see where Ian Book can place the ball, knowing where Chase Claypool will go get it. And I think it's really going to help the passing attack with having a weapon like that. Look, they don't have Boykin, but that's a guy you can go to.
Yeah, I mean, there's some injury stuff. Michael Young lost with a shoulder injury midway through practice. Paul Moel out with a thumb surgery. He'll be back next week. I think from the flip side, things that maybe caught my attention, but like on a negative way, I thought the offensive line, the starting group, they spent a lot of time in the scrimmage situation going against the 2s and 3s and did not have a lot of success, which really surprised me. I'm not sure what to make of that group. Brian Kelly's optimistic about it. Everyone inside the program is optimistic about it. I haven't seen it, and I sort of need to see it before I feel like, okay, this is a group that can be better than what they were last year.
I had to remind myself that they were going against the 2s at one point, because I kept looking and thinking, oh, this is 2s versus 2s, but they flipped it today, and I thought the 2s held up well.
Sure.
I mean, Ian Book, nice opening drive in that 11-on-11 scrimmage, but that wasn't as much offensive line as just his pinpoint passing. I think from a running back situation, it is looking more and more, and Brian Kelly hinted at it, that it's like just a combo back there. You and I really thought it would be Jafar Armstrong 1, Tony Jones 2. They trust Tony Jones in pass protection. They like what he brings. He does look better. It's a mild disappointment for me, I guess, that Jafar Armstrong didn't take the job and run with it, or maybe, I guess, Tony Jones has improved enough where he just helps them in enough ways they need him out there.
Well, I think you could have both. I mean, Tony Jones could have improved and Jafar Armstrong could have taken and run with it, and really only one of those two things has happened from our vantage point with 3 full practices, 4 full practices now. So, it's like, I think offensively, Cole Kmet's not there. Michael Young's not there all of a sudden. Are we really seeing what the best of the offense is? Because, have we gone to one practice and come away thinking like Ian Book, that's a top 10 quarterback? I don't know that we have. And I thought that was something that we would see in fall camp. And, this is not like an alarm bell for the season by any stretch, but I think there's still some stuff to work through offensively that I thought maybe would have been worked through by now. That's sort of okay. They have a couple weeks to go, but certainly there's some work to be done.
In relevant kicking news, I think if they have a special teams player of the day, I don't know who it is, because Jonathan Dorr was good, nearly perfect at the end of 50-yarders, couple sailed right. Jay Bramblett, nice hang time on his punts. I think now look, this isn't Georgia. This isn't the regular season. And obviously, kicking's a very mental game. Once you make some mistakes, you got to bounce back. But I no longer look at it and think they are going to lose a game because of their kicker and their punter.
Yeah, again, we will see.
Right.
I mean, just at Louisville, it's not nothing. For the first real action of those guys. But I thought Dorr, we're to the point where Notre Dame's Twitter account is saying, hey, special teams MVP, and we're like, okay, we haven't really seen it in practice. Today was one of those days where, It makes that, I think it was a 44 yarder at the end, 11 on 11. You're gassed a little bit. The ball looks like it should look like coming off a top 25 kicker's leg. So I thought that was significant.
That is all from the Notre Dame's open practice today. We'll have practice reports, Notre Dame notebook, of course, with Brian Kelly, and then we'll get back together for a podcast on Monday after a brief practice viewing.